Alright everyone, it's going to be a cold video because we're covering Ithaqua, the Windwalker from Cthulhu Wars. Hey everyone, so this is it. Last faction before the next Kickstarter ships. Windwalker. I love this faction. They can be played aggressively, they can be played defensively. No matter what, people who want to attack you probably will be afraid, because if not at first, they will after the first couple attacks, because your spellbooks are very good in this faction. I love this faction. We'll go through it. All right, so Windwalker, their first faction ability, their unique ability is called Hibernate. This is the star of this faction. This is what they're known for. This can be a tremendous boost. It can also result in you getting yourself in troubles. Leiden likes to call this power a noob trap, because if you abuse it, then you're gonna probably lose. You probably will put yourself in a bad place. All right, so what does it say? Add +1 to your power for each enemy Great Old One in play, but you cannot more than double your power doing so. You can perform no more actions during the rest of this action phase as if you were at 0 power, and add your current power to your total next gather power phase. So right off the get-go, even first turn, if you can end your turn with a little power, you can probably guarantee that you're first player next turn. So that's a given. Great Old Ones, no Great Old Ones, you can probably lock in first player. Now, the problem is that you're going to be tempted to use this power, and it might leave you vulnerable. So you always have to worry that you might be sitting, like let's say you were tempted to really push it. So let's say you stop with 4 power. If you could stop with 4 power and not lose all your gates, go for it, I guess. I mean, especially if there was 4 other great old ones out. But let's say more realistically that, let's say Cthulhu's out. So you stop with 4 power, that would give you +1 power. 5 power will move to your next turn. Okay, that's fine. And I mean, that's really nice. But if you lose a gate over it, that's 1 less doom point, that's 2 less power. You gained 1 net power for Cthulhu being out, and you lost 2 net power. Well, lost 1 net power total. Be iffy about it. I find that most of the time you really want to move between 1 and 3 power to the next turn. If other people are bashing themselves, I guess use it more, because it's better. Ultimately, it is better to do less this turn and drag your feet next turn and then end your turn with a bunch of power. It's effectively the same as sleeper strategy, except you actually had more power the next turn, at least as long as Great Old Ones were out. So, all right, we'll just leave them out. Cthulhu's out. Okay, so you need spellbooks right away. Now, they have a few different ways to get spellbooks, and they're all really easy. I mean, this is one of the easiest factions to get spellbooks out. Cthulhu is one of the other easy ones. But let's look at it. So, if you're the first player, I already talked about that. It's easy to become first player as Windwalker. Awaken Rontegoth. You have 2 Great Old Ones in this faction. That's 2 spellbooks. You're going to do it, right? I mean, you're always going to do that. So that's 3 spellbooks that almost guaranteed. Now, take this spellbook at any time. Yeah, just take it. I want a spellbook. Done. Gain 1 Elder Sign per enemy player who has 6 spellbooks on their faction card to a maximum of 3 Elder Signs. So they're saying you can take it right away, but they want you to take it later in the game. So you need to wait as long as possible, hoping that more people have 6 spellbooks. That's pretty hard because Windwalker spellbooks affect the game quite a bit more than some other faction spellbooks. I mean, on like a continual basis. All right. Another faction has 6 spellbooks on their faction card. I actually think this is the hardest spellbook because whereas Cho might be able to guarantee their great old one dying by throwing him in, especially in the beginning of the game, it's going to be really hard to make sure that every other faction has 6 spellbooks, especially if you're racing towards the end. Somebody else may not want to get a 6th spellbook if they're really far behind. So they may want to drag their feet so that they catch up in doom points. But then the game's going to end anyways. I mean, it's just hard, right? You don't want the game to end if you don't have six spellbooks. So you're going to start dragging your feet. I don't know. It's hard. And then finally, a gate exists in the area marked with the Windwalker glyph in which you did not start. So you start in Antarctica, you need a gate, any gate, to be in Arctic Ocean. If your friends are true friends, you'll tell them that they need to build a gate in Arctic Ocean for you. That probably won't work. It doesn't work on mine. So you need to get someone up there. And that honestly can be difficult. If you want to try to navigate with a cultist, that's a lot of power to move up there. Personally, what I would hope to do is I would just probably send 6 power, summon Ron-Tegath up in the north. That's going to give you a spellbook, okay? Now, the spellbook that I would choose is either between Cannibalism or Howl. Personally, I think in this type of scenario, you're getting a spellbook for summoning a great old one, Ron-Tegath. And he has a really cool power. We'll talk about that in a moment. I would choose to get Howl. So by taking Howl, then your Wendigo become amazing defenders. And with that, you can kind of leapfrog. Now, if you lose a cultist, you could sacrifice a cultist. Honestly, you can intentionally kind of move a cultist, and if the cultist gets captured, then now you can just recruit your cultist there and summon the gate. That's why I put Ron-Tegath there. Once you have him there, then you can move your cultist across the ocean to try to catch up with him. And while they're going, you can be summoning gates. So you could go, that's 1 power, 3 power, and then now you have a gate. If they leave you alone long enough, you summon a Wendigo. Wendigos are cheap, 1 power, and they force things to retreat. So now you're that much closer to getting across over there. If somebody attacks, like Black Goat, because they're scum, and they try to take that cultist, it sucks. But the next turn, when you recruit them again, you're just going to put them there, and you're going to summon your gate. And at that point, you're going to get another spellbook, and that spellbook I would normally choose as Cannibalism. Cannibalism is a post-battle, so Howl is pre-battle. Post-battle, after all battle results have been applied and 1 or more enemy units were killed, place a Wendigo or Acolyte from your pool in the battle area. You may do this even if you were not involved in the battle. That is crazy, right? If you manage a kill, then you're going to be putting Wendigos down anywhere. Like, really, you're going to be encouraging battle. You're going to be trying to like get people to fight each other and things because you can put out your monsters or your acolytes. And I mean, that I think it's powerful. That's cannibalism. It's a great power that can help keep things flooding back out. You already get free power. You already get free power from Great Old Ones being out when you hibernate. Now you're going to get more power if, effectively more power in the form of free units if people are dying. So if the game is being active, then things are going to die and you're going to be in a good place. All right. Now, you being first player, that should be a given. Possibly as early as the second turn. That's going to be a little bit hard. Let's look at the opener just a little bit. So by starting in Antarctica, if Cthulhu's here, you're not going to get a third spellbook very easily because it's going to be 1 power, 3 powers, that's 4 power, 5 power, and then you only have 3 power left. That's barely enough to summon another gate. So unfortunately, and that's assuming you didn't summon Rentagath. So it's up to you guys. You might want to summon Rentagath second turn, but when you do, I recommend summoning him in the opposite gate, wherever that is. So if you made yourself the first player second turn, which is a good time because people aren't active, they don't have too many monsters, things like that, then at that point, maybe think about getting Ice Age. Ice Age, place or move your Ice Age token to any area. When an enemy faction takes any action ending in an Ice Age area, they must pay +1 power. So, cool little ice glyph, put it out, and I normally use it defensively, and I try to wait, right? If I say, okay, I'm going to have 3 gates, and a lot of times, I can't get more than that, especially early game, because of how Windwalker is and where they start. Then I wait, and I always hold this. I'm like, oh, what are you going to do? Cthulhu, you're going to attack me? I wait, though, because if he moves here, then I want to put this here. If he moves here, then I'm going to put it there. That's how I use the power of Ice Age. Costs 1 power. You get extra power as Windwalker, so this works. All right. Herald of the Outer Gods. Around this point, I would say third turn, you should be in a place to get Ithaqua out. Now, the way Ithaqua works is he replaces a gate that you have in an area marked with your glyph. You don't need to control the gate, and this is another reason why your friends will not build a gate for you, because you'll just replace their gate with your Ithaqua. It kind of sucks for them, and it kind of sucks for you because you won't be able to convince them that they can have the Arctic Ocean. No, they know they can't. They know they can't. So, at any rate, around third turn, you should have both Great Old Ones out, and so when you get your third Great Old One out, I like to have Herald of the Outer Gods. Pay 5 power for Windwalker's Ritual of Annihilation, regardless of the number indicated on the ritual track. Now, personally, I like to take the cheapest cost Ritual of Annihilation from other people. It costs me 5, and if I see a 5 cost ritual, I want it, because I want every other person to pay more than me the whole game. Now, you should be trying to do Rituals of Annihilation the entire game from this point forward. That means that even though you may have powerful Wendigo, even though you have powerful Nope case out, we'll talk about Nope case in a moment, you don't want to fight, because unless somebody else is winning faster than you, there's no value for you in fighting. Crawling Chaos has value. They want to kill your Great Old Ones. And Ithaqua is a prime target. So keep that in mind. If you can keep Rento and Ithaqua together, it may make sense. Just so that you can assign kills to Rantegath, and that will often discourage Nyarlathotep from attacking you. So let's go ahead and switch that out. It is nice to have an expander, but that's the thing, a weakness of Windwalker is that often you feel pressured to consolidate your power. It's just how their faction works, which goes along with 2 Great Old Ones out. You might as well take the spellbook at any time, where you gain an Elder Sign per enemy Great Old One. So now you got 2 Elder Signs because you took the spellbook, which is pretty nice, especially compared to Sleeper or Black Goat, who have to pay a ton of power. So you got a spellbook for free, and in this scenario, you got 2 Elder Signs. And what does it do? Arctic Wind. When Ithaqua uses the move action, any or all of your units in the same area can move with him at no additional cost. So now, if you so choose, there's no gate up there, and there doesn't have to be. That's important, because I see people become possessive of land. You're destroying the planet. You don't care about land. So in this scenario, if I put Ithaqua up north, where Rentegath is already, I'm going to spend 1 power and move all of them into Europe, and now I've denied Cthulhu a power for a gate in an ocean. Eventually the oceans are going to be filled with gates. That's just how the game plays. But I can resummon a gate, and now I'm on land. I'm right next to Crawling Chaos, but he can fly anywhere, so it just doesn't even matter. You have to keep that in mind. It doesn't matter how close you are to Crawling Chaos, because in a smaller map, they can fly the whole board. Anywhere. Okay. So another faction has 6 spellbooks. Come on, Cthulhu, pull your weight. Get those 6 spellbooks. All right, done. Great. Berserker Gang. For each Nobke assigned a kill in battle, the enemy must eliminate 1 monster or cultist. So around this time, you have all of the you have all the spell books you can win. So all you want is to get enough Elder Signs to reveal them and push you over the limit, right? That's it. I mean, you might literally win by having the most doom points and then doing rituals of annihilation, but I don't think so. You'll exceed 30 before you finish all the rituals, unless everybody's just not playing and just doing rituals. So don't expect more than three gates. A couple times in the game, you're going to have extra power that you hibernated over to the next turn. Do it. Get your 4 spell for your gates, because that turn, when you ended up with an extra 5, 6, 7, 8 power, should be the turn where you're wandering around the world where nobody else can do anything, except maybe Sleeper. In that scenario, you should be able to take a gate, end up with 4, which, because you're going to do a 5-cost Ritual of Annihilation, that means that you're going to get that many more Doom points. It'll be effectively 2 Doom points, 1 for scoring, 1 more for Ritual, and that's 2. You're going to get 2 Elder Signs from your goos. You're going to have gotten a couple other Elder Signs, at least one for Arctic Wind. I'm sorry, take the spellbook at any time. And now you should be putting Nobkes out across the world to form solid lines of defense, because the rest of the players are going to start banding together to leave you with nothing. They want your Rituals of Annihilation to only be worth like 1 point, because 1 point is worth 2, and then you get 2 Elder Signs, which is an average of 3 Doom points. So they can kind of mentally think in their heads, if they leave you with 1 gate and you have 2 goos, at most you're able to get 4 points on average. And that's with a Ritual of Annihilation, which is cheap but still costs you 5 power. And if they have an extra point because they took a gate from you, or 2 points because they took 2 gates from you, and they do a Ritual of Annihilation, they're going to be that much further ahead. So anyway, that's what's going to happen. I'm sure plenty of Windwalker players have had their gates taken from them because everybody says, forget this. We can't leave you alone. And they leave your massive army alone. And it is pretty cool because your massive army, you're just moving them together, wandering 1 power each movement. Pretty nice. What makes Nobke special? Well, now, number 1, they have a great spellbook, Berserker Gang. For each Nobke assigned to kill in battle, the enemy must eliminate 1 monster or cultist. So they are punished if they successfully kill your Nobkes. All right, number 2, the cost of Nobkes is equal to the number of Nobkes in your unit pool. So the more you summon, the cheaper they get. When you originally have 4 Nobkes, they cost 4 power to summon. Pretty expensive for a 3 cost monster, or a 3 combat monster. But then it's 3 cost, then it's 2, and then it's 1. So if you're going to summon Nobkes, and you should because they're great, you want to summon most or all of them. I don't do that with other factions. With other factions, I do not summon all of their most expensive unit. It's just not a priority. But here, if your Nobke dies before you can summon another one, then effectively the enemy cost you power. So that's important. All right, now let's talk a little bit more about the goos because they're the only powers I haven't really touched on. Rantegath, he has a power called Eternal. As a post-battle action, you can spend 1 power to turn any, not even turn, it's just cancel a pain or a kill that has been assigned to him. You're only allowed to assign 1 to him. So, meaning he can only receive 1 combat result per battle. It's not like he ignores the first one. If you paid 1, he will not die this battle, period. Number 2, he's a 3 combat creature, by the way. Ithaqua. Ithaqua, his combat equals the doom total of your opponent rounded up. So that means that if your enemy has 20 doom, you're rolling all the dice. And that is a good way to punish someone who might be abusing the Azathoth spellbook that allows them to reveal their Elder Signs for power. That means their doom score is going to go up, and Ithaqua is going to be able to slap them down even harder. All right. Now, he has the ability called Feryx. While Ithaqua is in play, your cultists cannot be captured by enemy monsters or terrors. They are still vulnerable to great enemy old ones. So the moment you bring him out, all your cultists are safer, and that's the only reason that you might consider expanding to more gates, even if you can't protect them. Wendigos are cheap. I don't really recommend defending gates with only 1 cultist. However, the fact that they cannot be captured means that some of the other factions who rely on the ability to take out your monster and then capture your cultist, they're not going to be doing that. They're going to have to spend 1 power to initiate combat, and they're not going to get anything back for it, except maybe taking your gate from you, presumably. All right, so that is Windwalker. I want to reemphasize that if you win with Windwalker, you probably did not do it using a military strategy. I don't think you really ended with 6 gates or something like that. I have done that with some of the other factions. Black Goat, they take gates like crazy. Crawling Chaos, they can prey on vulnerable gates pretty easily because they can fly to the entire map. Cthulhu, he smashes people up. I really like Cthulhu takes down people that are powerful, which means he's going to want to take out you. It's not that he gets anything, right? Crawling Chaos gets something for killing your Great Old Ones, anybody's Great Old Ones. Cthulhu doesn't. He does get something if he can both destroy you and resummon his Great Old One. He will get a Elder Sign for it. For you, you're going to have these wonderfully powerful Nobkes. And it's not just if a Nobke is assigned to kill. It's for each. So if you get to 4 Nobkes, where the fourth one costs 1, you might as well throw that Nobke into battle, nonstop, constantly, because when he dies, you're just going to resummon him for 1. And to be able to summon a monster that has 3 combat dice for 1, that also kills an enemy every time he dies, you're going to want to abuse that as much as possible. Don't let your enemy kill 2 or 3 Nobkes though, because you'll kind of backpedal and it'll be hard to catch up. Ron-Tegath and Ithaqua both cost 6. So that's pretty amazing. Ithaqua can be hard to get out. If he dies at this point, I would summon him back into Antarctica. I have to resummon a gate. If I don't summon a gate, then or Opener of the Way steals my gate, it may be difficult to get Ithaqua back out. And it's one of those things where it's relatively easy to move a cultist in and summon a gate, maybe summon some defenders, but the rest of the players can totally make it so that you cannot summon Ithaqua again. If there's an Opener of the Way player out there, or if they're just very aggressive about preventing you from even resummoning the gate at all. That's Windwalker. I want to talk about specific strategies in a future video. We're getting to the point to where I'm going to be doing kind of reviews / strategy guides for each neutral monster box, but I do want to explore specific openers, specific unit strategies above and beyond just kind of like the general overview. So if there's a strategy you'd like me to explore, I mean, even like describe the strategy in the comments, and I will make a video maybe with animations showing the proper use for it or the best openers, things like that. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Of course, the next video is Windwalker and Azathoth combined. So as always, anything I missed, comment down below. And hopefully I don't lose my voice for the next video. Bye, guys.